So this video is going to be a shout out to this YouTuber by the name of Gustav Munch. His channel used to be called King Hokum, but it was attacked and brigaded by a false flagging campaign led by Rageholic, also known as Razor Fist, and his weird delusional MAGA chud fans. So on this video I was actually alerted to Gustav's plight by a frequent commenter and subscriber and friend by the name of Pride Tunes, aka Afro Lion. So he told me all about this, so shout out to you, Pride Tunes, and shout out to you, Gustav Munch. I highly recommend everybody go check out his channel. Check out his content. These are very well produced videos and they definitely deserve more than 12 views. So go out, check him out, and subscribe to him. But I thought in the meantime we could look at revisit our friend the Rageholic. When we last left off with Rageholic, he basically said that communists and Nazis were literally the same thing. So he also proved that he didn't understand what communism was, he didn't understand what fascism was, he didn't understand what social democracy was, and he didn't understand what state capitalism was. So this guy is politically ignorant, he's got the knowledge of a child, but he might make up for it in his coolness factor because he is a death metal god. This would be cool if I was like 10 years old. Like maybe it's cool if I was still like watching Batman Beyond.
Hot on the heels of the 1-year anniversary of the Charlottesville...
Who are we kidding? I still watch Batman Beyond. But let's just look at what we're working with here. He's got this weird poster in the background. It's, of course, the libertarian Don't Tread on Me poster. But it says, Bite Me. He's got what looks like, in the background of the poster, the Imperial Japanese, like, sun insignia. I don't know if he intended for that. Maybe the guy's a weeb. I don't know. But, yeah, he's wearing sunglasses indoors. He has decked his room out in heavy metal shit. Really, really cool. Once again, if you're like fucking 12 years old, yeah.
Unite the Right protest, the media, of course, had their browbeating locked and fucking loaded. How dare Trump fail to disavow the racism? Did Trump embolden the protesters? Funny, I don't recall the media saying anything of the fucking sort when Obama said he stood in solidarity with the family of Michael Brown. You know, the same Michael Brown family that shortly after the innocent verdict was read said, this?
Let me repeat Michael's father's words.
Burn it, bitch down! Burn it, bitch down! Burn it, bitch down!
Ah, well, what's a couple billion in presidentially incited property damage between friends?
So we've got a lot to unpack here. Basically, he's trying to say reverse racism is just as serious a problem as systemic racism against black people. White privilege is a thing. I hate to break it to Razor Fist over here, or Rageholic, whatever he wants to call himself, but I mean, it is certainly a thing in this society. You cannot be an educated person and deny that systemic racism exists in the United States. But I mean, this guy is going to sit up here and tell you that this hypothetical scenario where a white person is called a cracker is just as bad and just as horrible as the everyday systemic racism endured by African Americans in this country. This is the level of white privilege we're dealing with. And I know I'm coming off sounding like a damn SJW, but let me tell you this, my skin is as pasty white as Rageholic's. Even though Rageholic is in black and white right now, I dare say my skin is whiter than his. But I can still admit that there is white privilege in this country. That if I get pulled over as a white person, I'm much less likely to get shot than if I was black. And I think that's a fucked up thing.
allegation against T-Money appears to be that he was decrying both racism and reverse racism by stating that he disavowed racism, quote, of all kinds, to which I can only reply, reverse racism? Nah, there's no need to append the word reverse to the fucking phrase, my friend. It's racism. Full stop. And if Donald Trump made any mistake, it was that, appellating the phrase of all kinds to the fucker. No need, folks! Black guys being racist isn't reverse racist. It's good old-fashioned, down-home fucking racism. But don't take my word for it. Drink in the Sambo-savaging screeds of famed white supremacist Chris Rock.
You know who the most racist people are for real? The real most racist people? Old black men. You find a brother over 60, I know some of you white people know an old black man. You go, oh, Willie at the job, he's so nice. Willie hates your guts. Whenever an old black man sees an old white man, the old black man always kisses the old white man's ass. Like, how you doing, sir? Pleased to meet you. Whatever I can get you, you let me know.
Wasn't this guy the zebra from fucking Madagascar? What does this have to do with Charlottesville? I mean, come on, Razor Fist. What kind of drugs are you smoking over there?
Soon as the white man get
that death metal meth? Death meth?
out of sight, he's like,
You smoking the death meth, Razor Fist?
cracker ass cracker. Cracker ass cracker. I'll put my foot in the cracker ass cracker.
I've said it before, I'll say it again.
Alright, so, I mean, that's a really great way to prove your point. Let's just use, like, a comedian's story, you know, probably completely unexaggerated for comedic effect or anything like that, and let's just take that as, like, gospel truth and apply that universally across all society. That's what, you know, Rageholic over here is saying is the case. You know, he's over here saying that in the midst of the Charlottesville disaster, where a MAGA chud white supremacist rammed his car into an Antifa protester and killed her, Donald Trump should have taken the time to call out black people who call white people cracker. I'm sorry, but I don't feel nearly the amount of hurt if a black person called me a cracker, because that's not a dehumanizing term. My ancestors weren't enslaved. They don't suffer from systemic racism. Okay, it's not so much the word, it's the cultural and historical implications behind it. But all of these explanations are completely lost on somebody like Rageholic or somebody of his ilk, the reactionary YouTube base, because they just don't give a fuck. They honestly don't give a flying shit about the suffering of black people. But God forbid somebody call them a whitey or say that they need to check their privilege on the internet, and all of a sudden, you know, reverse racism becomes literally the new white genocide. It's so stupid and it's so cringy. These people are snowflakes. They are the snowflakes they accuse the left of being. It's all projection on their part, ladies and gentlemen. All of this heavy metal shit is just masculine bravado. He's just fronting an image. This guy is a scared little baby boy who is running away and slinking away from social change. And he's hiding behind all these movements like Donald Trump and the alt-right movement that make you feel like you're a big fucking dick man, but in reality you're just a little bitch boy who has taken the red pill right up the butt, right for Donald Trump. I don't know if this analogy makes any sense. I don't know if this rant kind of went off the rails, but this is what happens when I have to deal with fools like Rageholic. It hurts to even try to explain this shit to people. Racism is a problem in this society, and white people don't bear the brunt of it. White people don't have to suffer from racism nearly as much as black people do. And, you know, if you reject that basic truth, then you are living with your head up your butt.
And if you reverse a phrase and it sounds racist, classist, or discriminatory, it was all of the above to begin with. If you turn a gay pride parade into a heterosexual pride parade, and it suddenly sounds like a self-important exclusionary goat fuck, guess what it was to begin with, bitch? And you can go right on down the line with this lunacy. La Raza, anyone? An organization that alternately advocated the return of Aztlan, the southwestern United States, to Mexico, whose name literally translates to, quote, the Hispanic race. Fuck, they even had an eagle and a red and black color scheme on their logo. Shoot one of their meetings in sepia with German subtitles. You think Obama'd be donating $30 million to the frothing fuckheads? I mean, if you gank the NAACP letterhead and swap out the C for a W, and an organization whose name itself references the fact that it's dedicated to the advancement of one ethnicity exclusively.
Why did this fucking moron think the NAACP had to be founded in the first place? Maybe he should refresh himself on a little bit of American history and read about the discrimination that black people had to go through. My fucking god, dude. This is why people get frustrated trying to talk to white conservatives, because they are so clueless. They think that racism is a thing of the past and that it doesn't apply to black people anymore, when it couldn't be further from the truth. And they are just these little piss pants whiny babies who are over here, the meltiest snowflakes in the history of the blizzard, because they can't stand that for the first time in history they are being told to check their fucking privilege. Oh, my daddy and my granddaddy wasn't asked to check his privilege, but now the SJWs are taking over society. No, they're not taking over. Society's getting better. It's shrugging off racist shitheads like you.
Suddenly ranks a rung or two below a Klan rally in the racism rankings? Guess what it was from the fucking start? And don't give me that, well, they have to advance just one race because of how disadvantaged they are, horseshit. Let's see. First and worst black president, government-mandated preferential treatment in college admissions and hiring, every grant in the goddamn universe firing money at you from a cannon for merely existing. Yeah, it's a regular roots out there, Kunta Kinte.
Holy shit, man. This, mark my words, ladies and gentlemen, this video, my video, is going to get flagged for racist content. Alright? This video is not going to last very long. Because of Rageholic's stupid comments calling black people Kunta Kinte. Jesus Christ, dude. Holy fuck. Do better. That's all I can say. Do better. Your fucking, Nazi nature is showing. I mean, why don't you just fucking put on a broom handle mustache and start Zeke Heiling down the fucking street? For all that this fucking MAGA chud stuff is doing for you, you might as well just go all out.
Glance at Chicago and it's abundantly clear. The only thing keeping black men on their knees is dodging bullets from other black men. Did you watch the news this weekend? Sorry, let me rephrase that. Did you watch the news for the 20.5 seconds they actually managed to tear themselves away from shrieking about Omarosa to actually report the fact that 70+ fucking black people were shot in Chicago, the gun control capital of the Western Hemisphere? They planted so many people over the weekend, the cemetery trademarked the name AfroTurf, and you're convinced 100 twats with tiki torches are tearing down the fabric of fucking civilization. Oh, I'm sorry. Did I say tiki torches? I meant Antifa and no one else.
Oh, okay, so Antifa are responsible for the death of Heather Heyer. That's basically what this fucking buffoon is trying to get us to believe. That there was no disorder in Charlottesville, you know, except for the Antifa, who were there for no reason at all. It's not like the Antifa were rallying in Charlottesville to counter-protest the Unite the Right rally going on in Charlottesville. It's not like Antifa just pops up wherever Nazis are. I mean, just put your little thinking cap on, Rageholic, for 2 fucking seconds and just think about the situation.
Not that you can't understand their dismay about Charlottesville. After all, a woman did die when she was run over by one of those vicious members of the alt-right.
That is a lie.
You lose. Perfect.
Who was fleeing in fear after being actively threatened by an Antifa member with an assault rifle.
So James Fields, driving his Charger,
slow rolled our western perimeter. One time he paused right in front of me, and I waved him off with my rifle.
Alright, so this guy is basically saying that James Field was not an alt-righter, that he was threatened by an Antifa member, which, you know, first of all, I want to see the official fucking police record that says that. I want to see the official court record that says that. Yeah, I challenge anybody out there who is peddling this narrative, find in the court documents where it says that James Fields acted out of self-preservation. And that because he was menaced by an Antifa carrying an assault rifle, he was forced, almost like the hand of God came over his foot and pushed it down on the pedal, forcing him to run that girl over. Yeah, this guy peddles in so much bullshit, he might as well work on a fucking cattle farm.
Put that down. Put that down. Hey, put that down, sir. You're on private property. You're on property. You may not touch me. You don't touch me. Move past me. Move past me.
This is what alt-right journalism looks like, ladies and gentlemen.
Move past me.
Did you chase James Fields with a rifle? Do you think that contributed, perhaps, to his mental state?
Call campus police, please.
I just like to momentarily stew in the sublime irony of a man who publicly professes hatred for the police, calling the campus police. Goes down smooth. And back into the media
And yet you live in a society. I am very intelligent.
memory hole it goes. Only in 2018 would the media be shrieking about how a president calling them out daily for their self-evident fucking bias is more physically damaging to the press than Antifa physically damaging the press. Point taken, though, Glanderson Pooper. If the fact that over 100 newspapers all ran...
He said Glanderson Pooper! Ladies and gentlemen, we are dealing with a comedic genius over here, the likes of which the world has never seen. He called Anderson Cooper Glanderson Pooper. This guy, not only is he cool if you're like 10 years old, but he's also funny if you're 10 years old. This guy, he's something else, isn't he? Imagine being like his roommate. It's like, you know, 6 a.m., you have a test, you're trying to get some sleep, all of a sudden he wakes you up in the next room. Antifa is a fucking sleeper cell terrorist agency to push the globalist agenda, and reverse racism is a real deal. Yeah, that would be real fucking fun.